We live in a world that's just constantly pulling our attention in a million different directions, right? Well, Noah Elkrief offers this really simple, but wow, profound invitation. And that is, return to now. And we're not talking about some empty catchphrase here. He means it as a real, tangible, lived experience.
So in this explainer, we're going to take a journey through the core ideas of his work. We've got suffering as optional, the thought-emotion loop, a method for liberation, effortless presence and feeling, relationships and wholeness, and finally, your daily practice. Let's really dive into these teachings together. And the goal here isn't just to understand them in our heads, but to really feel them, deep in our bones.
All right, so let's start with this big idea. Suffering is optional. What does it truly mean to find freedom from suffering? Elkrief's message on this is, honestly, it's so simple and at the same time incredibly profound.
It's this: our suffering is optional. Just let that sink in for a second. And the key, the way to unlock that freedom, it all comes down to questioning the very thoughts that create it in the first place.
Okay, but how does this actually work in practice, right? Well, it all starts with understanding something he calls the thought-emotion loop. And Elkrief kicks this off with a truth that's so simple, it's almost disarming. He says our emotions are not caused by events, but by our thoughts about them. Wow. Think about that. This one insight just completely dismantles the illusion that we're all just victims of our circumstances. Turns out, most of the time, we're actually victims of our own unquestioned beliefs. So let's make this real for a second. I want you to take a moment and just reflect. Can you think of one recent situation where your thoughts just amplified the pain, made it so much worse? And what was that belief you were holding on to so tightly? Now, right about now, you might be thinking, okay, I get it. I just need to think more positive thoughts, right? Well, not so fast. Elkrief says that's just trading one illusion for another. Instead, he invites us to see our thoughts for what they really are, just mental noise. He uses this great analogy. Think of them like spam emails in your inbox. If you don't click on them, if you don't open them, they have literally zero power over you.
So here's a little experiment you can try. Like right now, the very next time a painful thought pops into your head, just pause and ask yourself this one simple question. Is this absolutely 100% true? And then just notice. Notice what happens in your body when you believe that thought. And then notice the shift when you just consider letting it go.
And all of this leads us right to the heart of Elkrief's teachings, a really practical, step-by-step method for actually dissolving emotional suffering.
It's a 5-step process. Okay, step 1, you got to identify the thought that's lurking behind the emotion. Step 2, recognize that it's that thought, not the event, that's causing the feeling. Step 3 is key. Question the truth of that thought. Step 4, really observe the impact. What does believing it do to you? And finally, step 5, let it go. And this is important. You don't force it away. It happens naturally, through clarity.
Okay, so what happens when you actually go through this process? Where do you end up? Well, you land in this state of effortless presence. So let's talk about what that actually feels like.
And this next part is so important. Elkrief reminds us the presence isn't something you have to achieve or strive for. It's not a goal. It's what remains. It's what's already here, just waiting for you, when you simply stop believing your thoughts.
He basically invites us to come back to our senses, to actually feel the rustle of leaves, to notice the warmth of a cup of tea in your hands, to tune in to the simple rhythm of your own breath. See, these aren't distractions from life. They're doorways back to it. They're doorways to the present moment.
Think about how often we do this. We interpret our emotions as signs of something else. We think, I feel anxious, which must mean something bad is about to happen. Or, I feel sad, so I must be broken, right? But Elkrief's teaching is to just feel the emotion without the story. Feel the anxiety as a pure sensation in your body without adding the what if. Feel the sadness without the I'm broken narrative. Just feel. No story, no resistance.
All right, now let's expand this out a bit. Let's see how these exact same principles apply to something we all deal with, our relationships and our very own sense of self.
Okay, this next idea, this might be one of the most liberating insights in this entire approach. You ready for it? Here it is. You are already whole. You just believe you're not. Man, just let that land. Think about it for a second. We spend our lives chasing success or love or validation. Why?
Not because we actually need those things to be complete. It's because we've bought into this story, this belief that we're somehow incomplete without them. But what if that belief is just another thought?
So, here's another question for you to really sit with. What do you think you need in order to be happy? Really think about it. Now, what if that's not actually true?
And this applies so much to our relationships. Elkrief shows how our assumptions about other people create so much unnecessary pain. You know the stories we tell ourselves, right? Oh, they don't care about me. Or, they should understand what I'm going through. Or the classic, they're definitely judging me. But here's the thing, it's these thoughts, not the people themselves, that are the real source of our suffering.
And look, this isn't about finding a quick fix. It's about cultivating a daily practice. It's a kind of remembering, a constant returning to your own true nature.
And this whole approach leaves us with this incredible, honestly radical truth. Peace is your default setting. It's your natural state. It's not something you have to go out and earn. You just have to return to it.
So, to make this super practical, here are a few simple Elkrief-inspired practices you can start using literally today. First up, the breath pause. Before you reply to that text, before you hit send on that email, just take one conscious breath. That's it. Next, the label game. When a "ah" comes up, just gently label it. No judgment. Ah, that's planning. Oh, that's worrying. There's judging again. And finally, the now check-in. Just a few times a day, stop and ask yourself, what's happening right now? And not in your head. What's happening in your body? In your senses?
So if there's one thing to take away from all of this, what is it? It's this simple yet totally radical message from Elkrief. You don't need to change your life. You just need to stop believing your thoughts. So this explainer, it's not just a summary of ideas. It's really an invitation. It's a doorway. And I really hope you'll step through it.
Just come back to now.